Hi guys, welcome back to another art video. In this one, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to give you a tour of my Procreate. All the files that I've created in Procreate so far. I actually started off by using Adobe Fresco because I have an Adobe account. Yeah, let's see how my art style has changed since using this. I'm actually doing a lot more digital art at the moment because like sitting up to my desk in the evenings, it's a bit chilly. The lighting goes at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It gets really dark, so it's just a bit rubbish using my ring light. Just the colours of paints and stuff don't look right in the lighting in my bedroom. So yeah, I've been sat in my bed in the warm drawing on my iPad instead. So I thought as I'm doing more digital art at the moment, I would show you some of my digital art. So let's get into it. This is one of the first things I did. I might have actually drawn this in Fresco to start with and then moved it over to Procreate, but I actually think it's really cute. This is one of my very early designs. This was a little scene that I hated when I finished and still hate looking at it now. I think I was trying to use, I think this was my colour palette at one point for my brand, and I was like, I need to use my brand colours for everything, even when creating pieces like this. So this one, I used this picture in the background and then created this, which I actually still think is really cute. Some mittens. So at this point, yeah, I was just drawing over photographs of things, and at this point I was like, I'm not an artist. I am not an artist because I can't do anything without drawing over the top of stuff, but I have seen people say that's how you learn. So this is my digital versions of me. So some of my earlier videos have got like intros with like the Steph logo and this going across. This was for when I was doing my walking videos, so I used this as like a overlay intro on some of my videos, and then I have drawn over some photographs of me. This took me so long. So this is the original photo of me, and then if I take out in the background, you can see how I've built up the different colour tones, added in so many tiny patches of colour to try and get all the shading and everything right. So yeah, this is another one that is just drawing over the top of a photo, but it takes so long, and I was like, can I not call myself an artist if I'm spending this much time going over an image? But yeah, so that was me, and then I've used that as my profile picture for so many things. So I put that on different colour backgrounds. Every time I change my brand colours, I put it on a different background. This one I was trying out doing a similar thing but using less patches. You can kind of see the picture there, but I'm not going to go into that. And then I've drawn over it. Anyway, I drew myself as a cartoon character because I saw some people had done that, and I was like, I'm going to do that, and actually that is quite cute, so I might develop that further and turn it into a little character of me. Then I moved on to doing fruit. So yeah, doing different patterns. So I learned how to create repeating patterns in Procreate. So I was just drawing some brightly coloured oranges. I do love oranges. I'm not sure in what order I've done all this stuff in now, so yeah, we'll see. Some of these are not great. This was like experimenting with changing different colours within the patterns. So that was the original. That was inspired by packaging, a pattern I'd seen on packaging, and then that was it in different colours. So some strawberries I was drawing. So for that, again, I think I used the photograph's not there, but I used a photograph but did much less like patches of colour, just kind of limited it to a few different layers. But yeah, I quite like those. They're quite cartoony. I don't feel like they're my style. Not that I found my style, but I don't think this is, I don't know, it's not very me, but they are quite cool. I do like them, but it just doesn't fit in with other things. So yeah, then I turned it into a pattern, a repeating pattern. I was doing quite a bit of putting my stuff on Redbubble and Society6 and places like that, and then I realised that a lot of their products are quite expensive, and also they're not sustainable products. So I deleted my Society6 and my Redbubble. I don't know if I'll go back to it at some point, potentially. That is again the same thing but in different colours. So I think I followed a tutorial online of how to like change the colours and stuff. This was the original Happy Little Oranges. I was heavily inspired by Mimi Moo Illustration, who's another artist or illustrator that I follow on Instagram and YouTube, and I wanted to do like cute stuff like her. So I created a colour palette that I really liked. I think I still have that colour palette I was using for a lot of stuff. I think it's this one. I was like, I'm gonna pick one colour palette and use it for like all of my illustrations. I think that was it. Yeah, I quite like that. It's cute, but it needs refining. I think I needed to work on texture and just needed improving. I think I've got several copies of it for adding in a little blush marks and changing whether I did the eyes, nose and mouth in black or whether I used the like different, what do you call it, like multiply and all these bits, whether I did that. More lemons, more orange patterns. This one's quite a good one. This one is actually the only print that I have sold on Etsy, and I've sold 3 of them now. So I've got a few of my designs up on Etsy that I sell as digital prints, so you can download them and print them at home. I thought that was like a sustainable option for now. This was done of this picture, which I got off Unsplash. That is a free image on the free photo website Unsplash, and I've just kind of gone over it and turned it into this abstract version, which I really like. And then I was like, I really need to experiment and find my style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the same thing in different styles. So this was the first one I did of some lemons, and I did use a photo of some lemons, but obviously completely abstracted it. And I do quite like this style. I quite like the graininess. I must have seen something similar that I liked. I think in the early stages of creating all this art, I'm just kind of seeing styles that I like other people doing and trying it out on my own images of things, if that makes sense, until I find my own style. Tried the same thing again. This one was using, so the other one was like solid colour, and then this is using like a pencil brush or something, so it's a little bit more textured, but it just looks quite plain and boring. It needs more doing to it, but I got bored of this very quickly, so it then became one which I'll show you in a bit, and I put on Instagram this one, and the one which it became. This one is another one that's like drawn over a photograph from Unsplash, so doing that same kind of big patches of colour. It's okay. I think this one is one that's still up on my Etsy or my web shop. So that's fruit. I really like this. This was inspired by a wash bag that someone gave me. It had a pattern like similar to this, or had a few elements as similar to this. I really like these flowers, like the different shapes. Yeah, I quite like it. I use this for, Etsy cover. So that was my Etsy cover. I think it was probably my YouTube banner at some point, and other various things. It was probably on my website as well. I did some of these botanical pieces, so I did a lot of like experimenting with, I drew these out first in my sketchbook and then took a photo with my iPad and then went over some of them. So that is the sketchbook photo, and then turn them into digital pieces. Yeah, just more experiments again. I think this was taken from a sketch in my sketchbook, so doodling in my sketchbook and then turning them into digital pieces. I don't love these really. Like, they look okay, but I haven't quite got the hang of layering stuff and adding shadows to make stuff look good. I don't know, they're just quite flat and boring, I think. But I put these on my shop for a while. I thought like people like those really minimal line drawing type things, so that's what I was going for. Taking those down because I don't really like them. They're very similar. That kind of looks like eucalyptus, so that was up there. And then just a fern, and then I'm like, is that too minimal? Does that look too boring? I don't know. I then wanted to turn it into a floral piece. I was following a Skillshare class, I think, to try and make some nice composition. Put my little signature on it there. So I thought it was good at the time. I'm not so sure now. I tried it in different colours. I don't know. I think I was too stuck to a colour palette. I restricted myself too much. I tried to turn these into some repeating patterns, pattern tiles ready for repeating patterns, which I think actually something like that might be quite cool on like a wrapping paper or something, maybe. It works better as a pattern than it does as an individual piece, I think. And then this one, I really like this actually, considering it's quite plain and minimal, whereas I like bright colours. I really like this. I did try it on different coloured backgrounds as well, which works. Yeah, and then I did a tulips one too. And I think I did try adding colour to it, but that does not work. No. But yeah, that one I think is still up on my shop as well. Tried to colour in again using different, like that was using pencils, like building up layer of pencil texture, which works a bit better actually. It doesn't look too bad, but I think with the black outline, is it black? I don't know, with the outlines and stuff, there's something that's not quite right about it. It looks too too cartoony. Yeah, moving on from that one. That's another one that's just a bit boring and not much to see here. This was a sketch for another piece like that, a composition like that. And then, oh yeah, I tried to add colour, just didn't work. This is the problem I have. I love colour. I love using different colours, but when I try and add colour to pieces, it just goes wrong. Like the sketch looks great, and I think it needs a bit of work looking back at it now. I think there's some areas that could do with a bit more added to them, but it loses, I don't know how to describe it, but it just, something goes wrong when I add colour to stuff. That is it tidied up with no colour. See, that works, and then try and add colour to it and it goes wrong, so perhaps I should leave that as black and white. Moving on, Christmas, trying to make some Christmas bits. This was, oh, I grouped all my winter stuff together, so this is like me trying to do stuff for Instagram. So I did a Happy New Year post with those same elements that I've used before. I then I did do a wreath, which looks kind of flat and boring, but I probably posted it somewhere. That I started to do as a winter scene. I think it was inspired by a picture on Unsplash, but never finished it. It looks okay, actually. Looks okay. I can never get, like, I see a lot of people doing pieces like this that have got the white border on them, and I can never get like a really nice shape. It always goes wobbly or looks wrong. And I drew this little guy. I think I called him Harold the Hedgehog, and he was so cute, and I was really pleased with him at the time. Put him in this little winter scene that was probably inspired by an Unsplash photograph. He's really cute. Tried him over there, and then that was probably the picture that went on Instagram. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that. And then a little Merry Christmas post and some baubles. So that was winter, probably a couple of years ago. Autumn, there is a road which I drive along regularly. I basically go up a hill, and it's like all enclosed by trees either side, and it looks really cool, and I was trying to recreate that, but really struggling with doing the trees. Like the sketch looked great, it looked like what my journey looks like, but trying to get the trees right, I wasn't sure like how many branches I should do, how should I then do the leaves. So I tried a couple of attempts, like started with trees, and it just wasn't working. I was really struggling, but I actually really like that colour palette looking at that again. So I should go back and save that somewhere. Yeah, several attempts and just not really getting anywhere with it, so I abandoned it, unfortunately. Maybe one day I'll figure out a good way of doing it. This was me trying to do some like super simple, brightly coloured, minimal work, which I really like these. Yeah, they're just quite plain and simple. Really love the colours. I think they would look quite cool on a wall, but yeah, they don't really fit in with the way that my style is developing. I think I do like to add a little bit more detail. Here's some more flowers. So these are the flowers like isolated that I did in those previous designs. I put these on like stickers and on all different products on Society 6 and Redbubble, and they looked quite good on those. So perhaps I'll bring those back at some point. And then the others are just versions of the tulips and that, which I've drawn before, but just using colour and it not working. I drew this pool. This is what I ended up doing, where I combined my happy little oranges with the oranges and lemons and stuff that I was drawing. I drew this, and I like it. I think it's really cute, and I then decided for a while that this was going to be my style, these cute little things. Started off with this colour palette for the lemons, so this is what I was doing at the same time as those lemons that were like abstracty. Same lemons, but in a different style, so I used that colour palette to start off with, but it just wasn't popping. So then I did these colours, which I loved and I think worked so much better. I did these a while ago, and then recently, as in like in the last couple of days, I have, is this it? No, never mind. I'll show you in a minute. This is what I put on Instagram, I think, at the beginning of starting my LED Studio account. This is the print that I probably still have live on my website, and then I really loved this and I used it as like the banner image on my website. I used it for quite a few things, so that I put as a print online. And then I did my avocados. But looking back at these now, just looking at the thumbnails of them, you can see like the smiley faces don't really stand out, so I did in the last couple of days go back and edit them. This is some happy chilies. I need to revisit those at some point, figure that out, but I'll jump to what I've been doing now. So there we go. I have updated them. I've made the smiles, the faces like stand out a bit more. So changed it so that the outlines are a darker version of the colour that they are outlining rather than being black. So they kind of blend in, but they are still highlighting the edges. This is me drawing some peaches. I got some watercolour paint brushes in here and some watercolour paper textures, and I made some peaches and I turned them into a repeating pattern, and I really liked them. But right now those colours are not for me. This is a stack of daisies and stuff. Again, I was on the like creating repeating patterns train because I wanted to create repeating patterns that could put on products on Society6 and Redbubble. I spent a lot of time doing that, trying to get the centre of this flower looking good, and created what I thought was quite a realistic looking flower but couldn't find a background colour that worked well. These were some more repeating patterns that I did. I really love this one. This one looks really good on bedding. When I was putting stuff on Society6, this looks great on bedding. Moving on to this. Oh yeah, so I developed Harold and put him into like a cute scene holding a peach. So I'm just constantly like combining different bits of my ideas and styles. So I love how Harold looks now. I think he looks really cute now, so I'm gonna revisit him for the collection I'm doing at the moment, definitely. Love this. This again is inspired by Mimi Moo illustration. Yeah, more pieces like this, just that's the same one again, pretty much. Just experimenting really. Wanted to do a whole bunch of flowers, don't think it worked that well. I love white flowers, and then trying to find a background colour that makes white flowers look good. It's quite hard, like you've got to put the green, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. That I really like, it's nice repeating pattern. I really like doing flowers. I was going through a whole phase of flowers. These kind of look like eggs. But they're like abstract flowers, so I was experimenting with that. That was just something that came into my head, I think, and I just wanted to draw it, so I did. Robin. Yeah, oh, I experimented with different textures on this one, different texture brushes, and it didn't work. Mimi Moo puts quite her name's Mimi. Mimi puts quite a lot of texture onto like the different shapes, and it works really well, but I haven't quite got the hang of it. Just experimenting with different colours and trying to create some more repeating patterns for Society6 products. That's the same again, same again, same again. Basically, I think I posted these on Instagram on an account which I have now deleted. That was one of my first art videos that I have probably deleted. I think I probably put it on a different channel as well. So that was the thumbnail for the YouTube video. So this is one of the first things that I draw in Procreate that I really loved. This is a view of Myrtos beach in Catalonia. Stunning white beach. It's all pebbles actually, this beach, so when you get down there it's uncomfortable AF, but it's a beautiful view of it from above. These colours, this is taken from the photograph, so you can see the photograph down there, and then I've just drawn over all the different areas, similar to how I did the picture of me, the profile picture. Yeah, and I love it. My mum has got this up in her kitchen and I've got it up on my wall. I love it. And this one was taken from a photograph that I took of some seagulls on the Gold Coast, where it was the most beautiful evening. I was there with a friend I'd made backpacking, and we'd gone to sit and watch the sunset, and we were like at the bottom of the Gold Coast looking back up at Surfers Paradise, watching the sunset in the distance. It was such a beautiful evening. We'd had a really lovely day, and this photograph, you can probably see like the lightings, like sunset, and it was lovely. So I drew over the photograph to create this piece, and this one is also up on my wall. I tried to do the same thing with some other pictures as well. So this is a photograph of a lake in Guadalest in Spain. I lived in Spain for 3 months in 2019, and one of the little day trips out we did was to this place, and it was stunning. Like those are the colours, like that's the colour of the water, that's the actual photograph. So yeah, I tried to do that but got bored of it and moved on. This I will finish at some point. My goodness. So this is me drawing over this picture of tulips that I took on a holiday to Austria with my mum. We went to Salzburg to see all the Sound of Music places. I have been trying to, in minute detail, just like I basically select the colour of the image behind and then just like colour in that area, same as what I was doing with my face and stuff, but going like really small so it looks really detailed. So at some point that might look good if I ever get round to finishing it. And then I was starting to go over this image of a photo I took from Shirley Heights in Antigua. So this was our last family holiday in 2016. We went to Antigua. It was stunning. In Shirley Heights, everyone goes there. Like everyone, pretty much everyone in the island goes there every Sunday to watch the sunset together, and they've got the steel bands playing and they're serving jerk chicken on the barbecue, and it's such a lovely evening. And that was the view, looking down at Nelson's Dock, and you look out and you can see, is it Sainte Marie or Guadeloupe, wherever Death in Paradise is filmed, you can see that island from there. So that was really cool. Anyway, this is a street in Brighton, and I was going to turn that into a digital picture, but abandoned it. So that's that. Scenes, I've called that folder. Tried to draw a mushroom. I did some more abstracty, oh god, there's loads in here. Abstract flower pieces. Just trying to create more repeating patterns for Society 6 and Redbubble, and just experimenting really. This is based on a photograph, I think. Yeah, so that's the photograph, and then that is the outcome. Wanting to abstract that would look quite good actually. I might try that in some different colours. That would be quite a nice minimal poster. That I do not like. That I followed a tutorial on how to draw both of those flowers and tried to combine it into a piece. Again, adding the colour just ruined it. That was me trying to draw a scene with some mountains, a whole load of tulips in the front, and I don't like it. Some more repeating patterns for Society 6 products. Something really simple that works quite well on like the badges and stuff on Society 6. That I wanted to be a print, and it turned out a bit rubbish. Some more abstract flower art prints. This one I really like in other colours. This is one of the first pieces that I did like this, but I've adjusted it, and the versions that are now on my website and stuff are a little bit different, but I really like this, like these abstract flowers, and then I tried them in so many different colours. And then this is another one, just experimenting with a different style that I'm not keen on. Yeah, again, I really love this colour palette, and this I have got on my website, but that gap is too big, so I have redrawn this completely, and there's a different version on my website now. This one is pretty basic, again, just using like minimal colour palettes. I'd go on to Pinterest and find different colour palettes and try them out, and that one didn't work too well. Here we have some more colourful stuff. This is a post on my Instagram. I really like this actually. Tried to create a birthday card. Looks a bit rubbish. This is what I now have on my shops and things. So yeah, I've redrawn it to like fill in that gap and redrawn all the areas and gone in and like really refined it. But this can be printed at a 2, I think. So yeah, pretty big, and then in different colours. These are the colours that I chose for LED Studio to start with. So these were the brand colours. I have changed them more recently, and I was just experimenting with them. And that's my logo for LED with all the colours in the background. And I was just experimenting with putting different colours behind it, and it looks cool. I then started a series where I was doing letters and then putting those in the background, so that is a print on my website. I turned that into a pattern, this pattern, which I really like. Yeah, I've got all the letters. I got as far as F and gave up. Started on G, not sure what I'm going to put in that. I will continue that at some point. There's so much abandoned stuff on here. This is me trying to draw some more scenes. So this is Bondi, which I abandoned. I tried to do a series of pieces that are all using, again, the same colour palette, and that's where I go wrong, isn't it? Where I try and stick to a colour palette. This was based on the cliffs of like the Jurassic Coast. I went down to stay in Dorset for a couple of days, so that was going to be that, but I left it there. I don't even know what that was going to become. This is a picture of my sister and I when she was pregnant, and we went for a walk, and I just thought it would be cute to sketch that out, maybe for a card for her at some point in the future. This is a giraffe. Again, I was drawing over, she loves giraffes and she had a baby on the way, and so I wanted to do something giraffe-ish for her, and it wasn't working, so I abandoned that. This is a picture of Brighton in Melbourne, Victoria. It's a beach with lots of beach huts in all different colours, and I have not finished it yet. I might do at some point. Random lemon. This is rubbish. This is based on the Posca Pen postcard, alliteration, Posca Pen postcard designs that I started doing. So I got myself some Posca pens and I started creating a load of postcards. Then I decided I would try and digitize them at some point a little while afterwards, and it doesn't look as good, does it? So again, this was another design I did on my Posca pen postcards. So was this one. Still trying to find my style, still trying to find my colour palette. I don't know how to explain some of these. This was another colour palette. I think this was a colour palette that Jessica Smith Illustration put up on her website, so I wanted to try and create something with it, and created something rubbish. This and this, and then this was the final piece that I came up with, like super simple abstract, but just doesn't really work, does it? Then I drew some cute little people watering a cute little person watering a sunflower in my sketchbook, and tried to digitize that, and it looks okay, it looks all right. And then I drew this. And I quite like when people put like the colour blobs down the side or underneath to show what colours they've used in the piece, and they look really good on Instagram when they do this, and I don't like this very much. My friend likes it, I don't know. I'm not so sure. I really love one of the pieces that I've done in my little sketchbook with the water and the person laying like this, and I wanted to do a digital version, and it doesn't look as good. And again, this is a digital version of... Actually, I think this is me planning out one of my traditional pieces. This was... I think I was doing my daily challenge, and I just drew something really quickly because I needed something to post, and that's what it was. This is me sketching out an idea, which I think I turned into a traditional piece, and this is me sketching out another idea just for fun, which I quite like, and then I turned it into a full piece and put the trunk at the like front and centre, because the prompt, I think this was a Peachtober piece recently actually, the prompt was trunk or tree or something like that. I wanted to draw a tortoise for, is that a turtle though? I don't know, for the prompt shell, and he's cute, but then I added colour and it just didn't work, so then I did this for the prompt shell. Yep, so that's an egg. And then we were getting on to, I think this was another prompt. It was something snowy. It might have even been snow, but I ended up doing this. I started it and it was taking me way too long, so I ended up doing like a really quick pencil traditional piece and abandoned that. And then this one I did bun. This was for the prompt bun. Yeah. My friend really liked this, so I then turned it into a 6x4 piece for her to print off and have in her home. Then the final prompt that I did for Peachtober was world or globe, and that's as far as I got. And I was like, I don't like this. So I abandoned that, and then I've been doing this recently. So Blooming Lovely. I was trying to figure out the colours, and I'm not sure I got the colours right. And then I'm quite a perfectionist with things like this. So then I'm like, oh, well, that gap's too big, that gap's too big. But if I fill it with these little blue shapes, then there'd be too many little blue shapes here. Yeah, I don't know. And also like the time of year, like Blooming Lovely, I would think spring, and I don't think this is a spring palette, so I was trying to find a palette that worked. Anyway, I tried to recreate it but without the blue splodges in it, and I did some slightly different flowers for these bits, and now I think it looks too spread out, so I don't know. And then I tried to do it in a different colour palette, and I wasn't loving this yesterday or the day before when I was doing it, but actually that colour palette kind of works, doesn't it? Maybe, I think. I don't know if I don't know. And then I thought, you know what I need to do? I need to create an Etsy shop that's like really super niche, like super focused on a particular type of client. I was like, I've got quite a few like cutesy drawings, like the lemons, which I showed you before, and I also sort of revised my oranges one, made the smiles and stuff like brighter, and the same with the avocados one. I was like, I've got quite a few things like this, so if I made a page that was just cute drawings, like cute art prints, like focused on nurseries and just prints for kids, I could do that. And I'm still, at the moment, I'm undecided between putting it all on a brand new Etsy shop and a brand new Instagram, or just keeping it all under the same thing and having a category, because you can like do categories and tabs down the side of your Etsy page, so I could just do that. But anyway, I then drew a bee, so I'm just working on a collection at the moment of different cute things. I've done a penguin, a giraffe, and basically I drew these little characters. Yeah, I drew them years ago. I really like them, so I'm revisiting them. I've also got a little robin and a reindeer, so I'm going to try and digitize all of these. And so yeah, I've already taken a picture of the hippo, so I'm going to work on the hippo next after I finish the giraffe, and just create this little collection of cute little animals and bits and bobs. I've written a whole list of ideas in my phone for this. I want to create like a collection and then get them all onto the computer and into like print form in the different sizes and get them all up on Etsy. So yeah, I'm still deciding how I'm going to do that. But yeah, I think I have gone on for long enough. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found that interesting. I found it interesting actually going back over all the digital art that I've done over the last couple of years and seeing how my style has changed and improved in some ways, sort of, I guess. Yeah, and there's some stuff there that obviously I need to revisit at some point. And yeah, I'll be back next week with another video that's hopefully a little bit simpler, maybe a little bit shorter. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.